So I would say whenever you are doing this process, start studying because you are gonna be RN soon.
Don't play with it, don't be dishonest. Still not under.
Hey everyone, my name is Maitri and I'm back with another video. So as you all know from the title, today you are gonna see AHPRA application process. Now, what is AHPRA? If you don't know, AHPRA is Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Agency. So you must be wondering why you want to apply to AHPRA if you want to work as RN in Canada. So the thing is, Canada doesn't allow nurses to work as RN if they don't have experience back home. So for RPN, you are eligible to work if you just passed your BSc nursing back home. But for RN, you must need some years of experience, or you must need Canadian nursing education such as palliative or intensive care or something. But you must study something in nursing in Canada. That's why we need to search some new places who allows nurses to give exams so that we can transfer license to CNO or whichever province you want to apply. So that's why nurses are doing Australia or USA application process and give the NCLEX RN exam that is online. After that, they transfer their license to Canada. Today, I'm going to show you how to apply for AHPRA because it is the fastest eligibility process so far. I got my license in 10 days. Yes, that's true. I literally got my eligibility for NCLEX RN exam on the 10th day I applied. So you can also get your eligibility and give your NCLEX RN exam. So I would say whenever you are doing this process, start studying because you are gonna be RN soon. Okay, so without further delay, let's do AHPRA process. Meanwhile, subscribe to my channel. Why you watch video and don't subscribe? First of all, we need to search AHPRA. Then we need to go to Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Agency. Now we need to go to registration and international applicants. Now here's all the information about internationally qualified practitioner, nurses, allied health, how to apply and what are their expectations and everything. Here's all the information. So if you are interested, you can read everything. Assessment of qualification, registration application process, standards and requirements, what happened after I have submitted my application, I'm registered in New Zealand, can I apply under the trans, and everything. We need to go to applying for registration, and then we need to go to nursing and midwifery, and we need to go to internationally qualified nurses and midwife, and here's the portfolio, and here's everything we need to know. First, fact sheet, internationally qualified registered nurses with a sole qualification before you apply, self-check and portfolio, examination, registration, orientation to healthcare in Australia, international application, resources. So, as I always say, first we'll check before you apply, And here's everything. If you have time, please read everything and start your application later on. Here they have given recommended pathway to employment in Australia for internationally qualified nurses and midwifery. So, if you want to work in Australia as RN, then you can check this out, assess your ability to meet the registration requirement, assess your ability to meet the immigration requirement, then complete self-check. If stream A, successfully complete orientation part 1. If stream B, successfully complete orientation part 1 and outcome-based assessment. Fill in application form and provide all documentation to AHPRA. NMBA will assess whether you meet the requirement for registration or not. Then receive registration. Then apply for immigration to Australia, then obtain employment, then immigrate to Australia and begin working. Okay, so we have seen everything. Now we'll go back and we'll do self-check and portfolio. So here it says, if you are an international qualified nurse or midwife who wishes to register in Australia, you will need to complete the self-check before applying for registration. So we need to do this. Now completing the self-check, steps after the self-check assessment stage, orientation and portfolio. So first we'll do completing the self-check. After reading everything, we'll move on to ready to complete the self-check. So we'll click here, expand, and then commence self-check. So now here it says that about the self-check. So who should use the self-check? individual internationally qualified nurse and midwife, so everyone internationally educated nurses needs to do self-check. Who should not use the self-check? So third parties or agents, so whoever is applying for registration needs to do self-check by themselves, and no any agent can do this for you. Individual who have completed nursing in midwifery board of Australia approved nursing or midwifery qualification in Australia, they don't need to do self-check. Nurses or midwife who are currently registered as a nurse or midwife in New Zealand, if you are a nurse in New Zealand, you don't need that. Individual who have previously held registration as a nurse or midwife under the national law or corresponding prior act. Then how to use self-check, so we need to click next. Then privacy, we need to click next. Disclaimer, a purpose of self-check is to provide initial guidance on the steps you need to successfully complete to be eligible to apply for registration as a nurse or midwife in Australia. To be granted registration as a nurse or midwife in Australia, all applicants for registration must satisfy the eligibility requirements set out in the health practitioner regulatory national law as enforced in each state territory, including the qualification requirement for sustainability, and the requirements stated in registration standards. The self-check process requires all prospective applicants for registration to confirm they have read and understood the content of and can currently satisfy, or when they submit the registration application will be able to satisfy the requirement of the following registration standards. So English language, criminal history, recency of practice registration, and professional indemnity insurance registration standard. So if you're applying from Canada, or if you're applying from India or from back home, and you don't want to work in Australia and you just want to give exam and then transfer your license, then you don't need to fill this requirement, but still you need to do self-check and all the process, but you don't need to do criminal record, English language and everything. But if you want to transfer your license, then you need to pay extra. The self-check process identifies the required step for individual who may wish to apply for registration. It does not assess whether an individual satisfy the eligibility requirement for registration. Okay, we need to click next. And what profession or division of profession are you seeking registration in? So we will select registered nurse. You can only complete the self-check for one profession as either a registered nurse, enrolled nurse, or midwife. You will need to contact AHPRA after you have completed the primary self-check to request to add another profession or division. Only complete the self-check for your primary profession, nurse or midwife. After clicking registered nurse, we'll go next. Do you hold current registration as a registered nurse in New Zealand? Don't know. Next. Have you previously held general registration as a registered nurse in Australia? No. Then next. Do you hold a current AHPRA referral to board approved bridging program letter or referral to outcome based assessment letter? So we don't have any of this, so we'll say no. Then next. Now, what are the details of your qualification as a registered nurse? So we need to fill out all the information required. Step 1, enter country where qualification was obtained. So mine is India. Okay. If you can't find your country, then you can click here and you can manually enter your country. Mine is available here, so I'll just write India. Okay, the step 2, enter name of institution. So university, college, or examination body. I'll write my institution. I'll write my university, Gujarat University. Then enter title of qualification. So Bachelor of Science Nursing. Then enter year completed. So I'll write 2020. Now we need to click here, check my qualification. So it says your qualification has been checked. Do you have any other qualification relevant to your profession as a registered nurse? If you have, then yes. If don't, then no. I will say no. And then next. Alright, so here's the summary. We need to double check. What profession or division of profession are you seeking registration? Nurse. Do you hold current registration in New Zealand? No. Australia? No. Do you have OBA letter? No. Primary qualification, India, Gujarat University, Bachelor of Nursing, 2020, no. Then next. Okay, you are now ready to proceed to the assessment stage. By clicking the proceed button below, you will be asked to create an account with AHPRA or log in if you already have an account. When you log into your account, you will be able to see the steps you have to complete before you can apply for registration. Okay, so before we apply for registration, I need to do assessment stages. I'll do that with you. First, I need to click here, proceed. So here we need to log in or register. So as we're doing it for the first time, we need to do register. For that, I need to go here. I don't have a login. So now I can create my own login. So for that, I need my first name, last name, date of birth, email address, and I need to click here. I am not a robot, and then next. I will do that. Now they have sent validation code to our email address. So we need to go there and write the code here. And we need to click here, validate. Okay, now we can create our own password. So there are some rules, 8 to 20 character, at least one uppercase and lowercase character, and at least one number. So we'll do that and create account. And now it says your AHPRA account has been created. Please log in again to access the form. So we need to write our date of birth again. Every time we need to click I'm not a robot and log in. Alright, so here acknowledgement. I confirm that I have read and understand the content of the following regulation standards. So we need to read everything and then acknowledge. I'll say accept. So here it's pay IQNM assessment fee, then orientation part 1, then portfolio, then MCQ exam, OSCE, and apply for registration. So the thing is, if you are doing it just for the eligibility and after that you want to transfer it, then you don't need to do OSCE exam and apply for registration. You can just pay IQNM fees and orientation and portfolio and give MCQ exam. So MCQ exam is NCLEX RN exam, and then you can ask them to transfer it and you need to pay fees for that one. Okay, so now what is your mailing address? So I am doing it from Canada, so that's why I will write Canada. Wherever you are, you can write that address. And now we need to do receipt to payment. So whatever the payment we are doing, it's 410 Australian dollar and it is non-refundable. So if you have any doubt, please clear it out before you pay your fees. If you have any doubt, you can comment down below to clarify. I will try best of my knowledge to answer your question, or you can also email them to clarify, and once you pay the fees, you cannot get a refund. So be sure before you apply. Now, next. Okay, so this program has been designed to provide us an introduction to an Australian healthcare system, including different elements of Australian healthcare system, an overview of the different roles and functions of enrolled nurse, registered nurse, and midwives in Australia, how nursing and midwifery practice is regulated in Australia, the relevant statutory regulations and framework that govern nursing and midwifery practice in Australia, what is person-centered care and woman-centered care in Australia. So to know everything, we need to click continue. It is mandatory. That's why we need to do it anyway. Now the second video, click play.
The NMBA is the nursing and midwifery.
So we don't need to complete everything in one sitting. We can continue this and come back anytime we want. We just need to log in and it will start wherever we finished. So if it's okay if you don't have time, but what I would suggest is just finish it in one go. It takes an hour to complete, but after that in 10 days you can get eligibility. So it's good if you complete in one go and it's done. The world's oldest civilization. So here's the Australian brief history, geography, people, culture, habits, and everything. All right, so now I have successfully completed orientation part 1, and now with the help of this link I can go back to my IQNM dashboard. So we'll click here and we again need to log in. Now the third step is portfolio. So we need to click here, launch portfolio. We need to click next, again next, and declaration, acknowledgement that I understood and agree with all the statements above, and next. Now we need to give all of our information. First, what is your name? Have you previously been known by another name? No. What are your birth and personal detail? Place of birth. Try to give all the information from your passport, so there's no any query later on. Now what's your contact phone number? If you're giving international number, then you also need to give +1 or 2 or 6 or whatever it is with your phone number. Then next, then your residential address. Then we need to give our address detail, so international address line and province and postal code. Alright, and next, okay, which document from each category will you provide for proof of identity? So proof of identity documentation, so we need to provide passport and expiry date. So we need to upload the certified copies of this document. We need to notarize this document from our lawyer, and then we need to upload. For now we will click next Here's all the information: country where qualification obtained, name of institution, title of qualification, and year completed. And we also need to upload certified copy of course completion certification and academic transcript in the document upload section. Here they have given a note that the documents we are uploading must be in English language, and if not, then must attach English translation along with the non-English document. I would say please give document in English language so it's easier. Then they have also given here one link for translating document requirement. Just in case if you're interested, you can read that. Right now we'll click on to next. Now, previous examination. Have you successfully completed a National Council licensure examination or registrar within the last 10 years? So when you are doing this application, so I'm assuming you haven't, that's why I'll write no. If you have done that, then write yes. Then next, document upload. So here they have given requirement criteria that the proof of identification document, whichever you are uploading, must be certified by authorized officer, and document without a photograph must include I have cited the original document and certify this to be a true copy of the original. So if your document doesn't have your photograph, then the notary officer need to write this sentence and sign and stamp. And if your document have a photograph, document with a photograph, then notary officer need to write I certify that this is a true copy of the original and the photograph is a true likeness of the person presenting the document as cited by me, and then stamp and sign. So this is the requirement of them and you need to do it. Then format. So certified document you are uploading must be in JPG, JPEG, GIF, PNG, PDF, TIF, TIFF must be in this format, and the size must be less than 10 MB. So you need to give one proof of identity document, that can be your passport, and one qualification document which needs to be your transcript and course completion certificate. So you need to do this step before you can continue the application. Once you submit this document, then the next is summary and then next step. Once you have submitted this application, then they will review your application. They will let you know that you are eligible for exam or no. So your part is done here, and then in 6 weeks they will send you an update. Right, so that was everything about AHPRA. You can comment down below if you have any question. I'll try best of my knowledge to answer that. I hope this video is helpful to you. If it is, please give a like and subscribe to my channel so you know more information about nursing in Canada and general life in Canada, and share this video to someone you know it is helpful, and I'll see you in my next video. Until my next video, keep loving and keep smiling. Bye.